Welcome everyone. Welcome to our brand new webinar, Brand Yourself for Recognition, Results and Rewards. If you're joining me, welcome. My name is Rachel Quilty. I'm your host today. Hi everyone. Love for you to just open up chat and let me know your name and where you're tuning in from. That'd be fantastic. So welcome, if you're just joining me right now, welcome to our brand new webinar, Brand Yourself for Recognition, Results and Rewards. It's fantastic to have you with me today. It's really exciting for me to finally have released this brand new webinar for my clients, and it's been a little bit of a labor of love, so you'll see that as I walk through it. I actually produce my webinars very differently to a lot of other people, so it's interesting, and I guess that's the branding aspect. So I'm just about to get started. We're going live across a number of different platforms at the moment. So let's get started. So welcome to our brand new webinar, Brand Yourself for Recognition, Results and Rewards, how to position your brand for success. So today, I want to ask you that really important question. Would you love to have a personal brand like Steve Jobs? Would you like to have a business like Steve Jobs, Apple, one of the largest business brand empires in the world? Would you like to have a brand like Oprah and a sustainability in her branding like Oprah? And I hope you're answering the answer is yes, I imagine, as you're walking through this. And so we see the latest, leadership emerging from Ukraine with the President Zelensky, and he's been now heralded a war hero and obviously pursuing victory. Would you like to have a personal brand like him? Would you like to have articles written about you, people reviewing how you're leading, how you're organizing your country and nation? Would you like to have a great personal brand like J.K. Rowling's, who's authored so many books, who have then went on to become movies, then went on to become theme parks, etc.? Would you like to have a brand like Richard Branson, a sustainable, disruptive brand that has really lasted despite recessions and COVID, etc., has emerged stronger than ever? Would you like to have a great personal brand like, I love, Diana Prince as she emerges and transforms into Wonder Woman? So would you love to have a brand like this kind of superwoman, Diana Prince, who transforms to Wonder Woman? I hope you're saying yes, because we really want to become big and bold, and we want to establish our business and our brand for leadership and authority. Your goal is to position your personal brand strategically to facilitate joint venture opportunities, attract promoters and clients alike. So my goal is to provide foundational principles so you can define and design your personal brand, build and leverage your personal brand, dominate your marketplace, and position yourself as the authority. And obviously, we're branding you for recognition, results, and rewards. And we're going to show you how to position your brand for success. So we're going to cover off a number of parts within this presentation. Part one, what is personal branding? We're going to quickly whiz through that so you have a clear understanding of how I define personal branding. Part two, develop a game plan for your brand. Part three, a quick start review of your brand, just some really simple strategies that you can adopt immediately so you can have some quick wins. Part 4, create an action plan. So we're going to walk through some of the action steps that you need to create a successful and significant brand. And then lastly, I'm going to walk through some deadly branding mistakes that are quite common. And the reason we're going to cover off these 5 parts is so that you can build a powerful personal brand, create a brand that attracts opportunities, develop a personal brand that reflects your potential and your goals, differentiate your brand, and brand yourself as the authority in your field. And so what we do know is that your story is so important. Your life lessons, your experiences define who you are. They say your life experiences are perfectly aligned to your life purpose. And what I say is that your life experiences and life lessons are perfectly aligned to your brand purpose and brand mission. So you know that the puzzles of the pieces of the puzzle from your life, all those incidences and moments and crises and chaos have all created this incredible opportunity to be a solution to somebody else. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and my life purpose, if that's okay with you. I called myself the cleaner. I was the youngest industrial relations officer manager within literally Australia. I was groomed to become the CEO. I was nicknamed the cleaner. And then in 2002, a number of things changed. I actually went to a Robert Kiyosaki training, 3 days, spent several thousand to be there for the weekend. I learnt so much that I actually went to work on the Monday, resigned, and overnight I was re-engaged on 3 times my normal salary. So, I took immediate action. I learnt what I needed to learn, and then I took action. And so my name, like I said, is Rachel Quilty, personal brand strategist, author. I've had an opportunity to be interviewed on TV, radio, some various media outlets. I've had quotes and stories written up in Cosmopolitan, Gracia, Marie Claire, Stand Up, a host of different print media, newspapers. I've also got quite an extensive client list. A number of really significant organizations called me in to speak to their staff or their legal team or their frontline management team, their brand ambassadors, to talk about personal branding, to talk about how important the impact of their staff was on, 1, the initial impression of the organization, but 2, actually reassuring the client that ultimately the prices they were charging were, fair and reasonable. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. So, I've had opportunities to guest speak at the Griffith University School of Business, Bond University, various organizations, various large corporations, multinationals within Australia. So the reason it's really important, I guess, to let you what happened was I actually decided to write a book, and I took a year off to actually consolidate all my consultations, do further research, walk through an action plan, developing a system to actually ensure that I could go from concept to commercialization with my clients. And so I took a year off. I leased a unit or a condo at Q1 on Surfers Paradise on the Queensland Gold Coast. And, I was on room 2804, overlooking the ocean, often saw the whales. And so I really took some time to really invest in developing the book. And Brand Yourself book was really fairly groundbreaking at the time that it was launched on Amazon. I was one of the first Australian authors to launch on Amazon, and it was literally launched in the US. And, it was interesting because I was in the US when I finalized the final manuscript at the Waldorf Astoria. And so I have had an opportunity, as a result of writing the book, I was invited to speak at the Ultimate Joint Venture Boot Camp in Las Vegas. And here are a couple of my clients that signed up to my program. And so I was able to speak from stage with some of the most prominent marketers and internet marketers in the world. And so it's really quite gratifying to be invited to be alongside those individuals and to call them friends. So as a result of speaking in Las Vegas, I was invited to speak on Jordan Goodman's show, the Money Answers show, and that was on Voice America. And so, I was interviewed by Jordan. He has quite a media reputation in the US, and he was, what I didn't know at the time is that 1 million people had tuned in New York to actually listen to my interview. And what happened was the executive producers then approached me about creating my own show in the US, in New York. And so it was one of those logistic issues that I didn't pursue at the time. And but it was a really fantastic opportunity, and it really meant that I knew that what I was doing was really being validated, and as a result I was being called the authority in personal branding. And so it allowed me, and it afforded me this idea of my personal branding to, because I was guest speaking, I was training online, I was coaching online. It meant that I could have my property, my own residential home, but it meant I could, basically take a year off work and spend some time writing. And, it was the launch pad to my speaking from stage. I had an opportunity to, go back and forth to New Zealand, to Wanaka and Queenstown. So, every month I'd duck across because I'd finished writing various chapters of the book. I'd met a milestone, so I rewarded myself with a trip over there. And so, as I was invited, I sent the manuscript of the book to Scott, because I was telling him as I was setting up my US corporation, I was telling him how I was writing this book and that I'd literally finished it. And that was the reason. He read the book and he said, "This is fantastic. Can you speak at the Las Vegas joint venture boot camp?" And I said, "Of course, I'd love to speak at the boot camp. I'm going to be in the US, so it's a perfect opportunity." And so as a result, he said, "Well, do you have a product that you can sell from stage and for $2,500 or thereabouts?" And I said, "Oh, yes, of course I have a product." And so when I arrived in the US, I literally went straight over to Stratton Mountain Resort. We leased a condo there for 5 months. I was there for 3 months, and I literally sat down and wrote the training program, wrote my presentation, did all this training so I would be able to present from stage, and then headed down to Las Vegas to present. And what was lovely is I was invited back to speak, and I was also given opportunities to speak elsewhere, but I was literally leaving the country at that same time, and I was booked to speak in Australia as well. So it became a little bit of a logistics nightmare. So what's been really lovely is that once you have developed a personal brand and you're able to premium price yourself, you're able to really live a certain lifestyle. And so I was afforded a fantastic lifestyle. I sailed on the Independence. We cruised from Southampton, south of London, across the Atlantic to Fort Lauderdale in the US. We also did a different cruise where we sailed out of New York down to the Caribbean and sailed back up. So I've had a really fantastic opportunity with the Royal Caribbean to enjoy their hospitality. And you've always got stories about your cruises. And so one of the things that I really do love to do is sail, and I have my competent crew and sailing. I've been trained to sail cats, so I love my lagoons and my light waves. So it's been really fantastic. Like I said, I've been able to stay at some incredible places. I was at the Waldorf Astoria before we went on our cruise. That's where I was able to finalize the transcript for my book. So I was able to jump on the cruise and be really relaxed and enjoy it. I was there, Angelina Jolie and her family were there. It was just before Christmas, so it was snowing in New York, and there was all the Christmas lights. It was beautiful. And I've always wanted to stay at the Waldorf, so it was a really lovely thing to do. And you always have these really interesting experiences when you're in the VIP lounges at airports. You run into all sorts of people. So it was interesting, and it was ironic because I'd been at Stratton Mountain, and Delta Goodrum she was playing for Dancing with the Stars, and the actual lead vocalist that was going to sing actually dropped out very last minute. It created a national media frenzy. Delta stepped in with Michael Bolton, and 22 million people tuned in, and likewise myself, to the US to watch Delta on Dancing with Stars in the US. So it's really interesting who you meet. I can tell you about all these different celebrities that I've ran into in the VIP lounges of the world. So my mission really is to assist you strategically and systematically build your professional profile to enable you to leverage and position your personal brand as the authority in your marketplace or your field or your organization. So I establish myself as the authority on personal branding, and I will help you do that in your niche as well, or your niche if you're tuning in from the US. So what's your niche or niche? So for some people it's sports, David Beckham, football, Obama, politics. I'm still reading his posts on Twitter. And then we have Warren Buffett and his advice on the fundamentals around investing in businesses. So do you want to be the authority in your field, in your organization, or in your marketplace? You really need to step away from the crowd. You need to be disruptive. You need to stand out. So what else do you need to know? So as we go through this presentation, it's literally going to be 90 minutes. So the results, I'm going to talk about some of the results that you can get, but I'm also going to talk about some of the theory first, some of that foundational information, so you have a context for what I'm going to be talking about. And personal branding is vital first step for business success and joint venture opportunities or promotional opportunities. And so let's set the scene. Like a movie director, we nurture your brand creation with you as a starring role. It involves you taking center stages in your own success. So I always ask the question in all our trainings, because you really are the star in this production, scene one, take one, action. And so now I actually am qualified filmmaker director. I would actually say camera ready, action. So this is about creating an epic movie, an epic story around your personal brand. And what is personal branding? Personal branding is essentially about marketing yourself, creating a personal package that is appealing to your target audience while remaining an accurate reflection of your true self. So who should be branding? Absolutely everyone. If you don't brand yourself, somebody else is. And, I read an interesting article in Forbes about one of the commentators was saying that if you didn't have a brand by 2020, you wouldn't exist. And so that, it's an interesting idea. I was reading this obviously before 2020. And it's kind of like, well, everyone has a personal brand. Everyone has a personal reputation, a personal brand promise. And, obviously this all translates into action and the possibility of rewards, which we're going to cover off as we walk through this. So why brand yourself? That's the question. So why do you want to brand yourself? Is it for financial success? Is it for status? Is it for influence? Is it for promotion? You need to, drill down on that and start thinking, why do I want to be a great personal brand? And so let's think about it. What makes a successful brand? Your financial success, your celebrity status with your target audience are greatly influenced by how compelling your personal brand is. And so, I don't want everyone to get caught up on the fact that we're talking about financial success. It's merely a measure or a metric around your success as a personal brand. Likewise, celebrity status. It may not be that you want to be in the limelight, but you want to be an influencer behind the scenes. So what's the purpose of branding? The purpose of a brand really has two main purposes: to differentiate yourself and to achieve a desired result. And what is a good personal brand? A good brand name gives a good first impression. It's easy to remember. It evokes positive associations. So you can imagine, as we're thinking about your brand, we're going back to that slide or that checklist and going, is this memorable? Is it easy? Does it evoke positive emotions? Is it easy to recall? Those kind of things. Because that is really starting to be very strategic around your branding. So the major elements of building your brand identity, names, associations, messages, images, symbolism. Your brand name awareness is the flip side of that. What exists in the hearts and minds of your customers, employees, suppliers, stakeholders. So this is a colleague of mine, and I thought I should show you her branding because it's a really beautiful idea of some of the branding elements. So Jenny Snook is, very much around raw food, and so she calls herself the raw food genie. And so we can start to see here how she's incorporated the genie lamp and the vines and that Arabian feel and the colors, royalty, freshness, that organic feel, the richness of the gold. So flip side, you can see from JumptheQ's branding, we've gone for something that's very much tailored towards professionals, executive business owners that are looking for, high quality, high level information. And I guess it gives an indication of the seriousness. It's an intensive workout in building your brand. And so this is really for somebody people that are really serious about building their brand. So we look at white space, which indicates that it's, not a, that it's a premium price product. We have our icons and we have our images that are disassociated. We have our colors, which we have, investigated the psychology. It actually took me 2 years to create and design the brand for JumptheQ, and that became our design brief, and that was then introduced in all of our brand products. So you'll see that the book, the Brand Yourself Blueprint, our action plans, our trainings all kind of reflect this. And you'll see that there's a different image that represents a different product. And so you can see here that we can, Brand Yourself Action Plan, our Brand Yourself Blueprint, the books, and the book Brand Yourself have that similar quality. So we've been very intentional. And whilst people, it's interesting because I learnt a very good lesson from Robert Kiyosaki at that 3-day weekend, 2000. It was actually 2000. So, and that was to really take control of your branding around your book. And so, 10 years later, as I'm writing my book and I'm putting it forward, I'm giving the graphic designer my brief. I've literally told them this is how I want the book to look. And so it mirrored my other products and JumptheQ's products. And so it's one of those things, everyone else had whatever the graphic designer wanted them to have. And so, some people, Robert Kiyosaki will say that he was very unhappy with his first design, and most people don't remember their first book because it wasn't that bold gold, black and purple branding. So what will you achieve when you start to focus on your branding? You'll improve your You'll improve your business credibility and positioning, increase your confidence and effectiveness, improve your communication, increase your persuasiveness, earn you improved market standing, and help you to achieve your business goals. So let's just quickly talk about why it's so important. And, we talked about rewards. How does that come about? So research has indicated that 70% of people will pay an additional 20% premium on branded products. 40% indicated a 30% premium they were prepared to pay. This increased perceived value allows you to premium price your services. And so often the first thing I'm doing with my clients is advising them to increase their charge out rates. Often they are really they are the expert. They are truly the authority, but they don't have the number one position. So that's the question you need to be asking yourself. Are you in the number one position? Are you the recognized authority? Are you able to premium price yourself? with good conscience. So let's give an example of that. So say we have a product, Coca-Cola, a can or a bottle, say it's $4, and then we have a generic brand of pop or soft drink or soda pop, and it's $2. So the difference is $2. So this difference, the added value provided to a product or company by its brand identity is brand equity. This increased perceived value equals premium pricing. And that's a really intentional and conscious thing. It's recognizing that there is a premium in your branding and that you can now charge a premium price for that. Your brand equity is your reputation. When you have sufficient brand awareness that you are a recognized brand in your field, you gain a sustainable competitive advantage. By building your personal brand over time, you're able to premium price your services. So I'm really trying to cover off some of this theory so you understand why we're able to achieve recognition and results and rewards really quickly when we have an action plan in place. Why is branding so important? And you need to be asking yourself that question, like, are you recognized expert in your field? Are you positioned as the number one? Are you recognized as the go-to? Are you the person that the media seeks out for a comment around your subject, your area of expertise? So let's move forward. Why is branding so important? We know that within microseconds that judgments are made about you, stereotypical judgments generally. People determine whether they like you, whether they trust you, whether they want to spend time with you, whether they want to do business with you. So we know that first impressions are made up of 55% visual, 38% tonality, and 7% the words we use. So within this very short period of time, under 6 seconds, a person has formed an opinion and we have made an irreversible first impression. I love all this stuff. It's really incredible. It's great foundational information to your brand. The halo effect is one of those things that you can leverage with your branding. If you look good, if you look confident, you'll be perceived as competent and intelligent. You'll be good to spend time with and do business with. People will accept you and your prices and question you less. And like I said, impressions translate into action. So those with an excellent brand will be hired first, promoted quicker, afforded more authority and respect. Their suggestions or their advice is given more weight. Your word becomes gospel. So Marina Hurst, one of my clients, said this: Rachel Quilty's Brand Yourself Action Plan is an invaluable source of inspiration and guidance in my business, which heavily relies on personal branding. I cannot recommend it highly enough for every direct sales agent out there. This is a must-have resource for everyone in sales. This insightful and instructional action plan on personal branding will help you create a competitive edge and position your personal brand to stand out from the crowd. So, do you want true and lasting success? Actually, let me just touch on Marina's comment. You know, in the direct sales arena, multi-level marketing, network marketing, you are one person with a number, like thousands of other people selling the identical product with the identical marketing material. And how is it that you can gain a sustainable competitive edge over your competition, which is all those other direct sales agents? It's by personal branding. That is truly the one thing that will give you a competitive edge. Hence Marina's success and her, her testimony around that training. So true and lasting success depends on the totality of your personal brand. Your total brand is made up of these 5 essential elements which must be managed for long-term success of your personal brand. And they are your hidden image, so your attitude, your ability, self-esteem, your assumed image, that's your reputation, your visual image, your packaging and your appearance, your experienced image, so that's your communication, so how you present yourself and how that first impression plays out. And then obviously over time, your proven image, so over time whether you are able to maintain a congruency around that first initial brand impression. There's so much research and so much information I can tell you about. It's so incredible, and it's so helpful. It gives you a lot of insights to why personal branding is so important. The total experience a client has with you, your personal brand or your products and services, will determine your success long term. The buying decisions of clients are based on value and image. However, attaining and maintaining a good image can't be an end in itself. So often say that, or there's a phrase that goes around, which is that your image is worth a ton of performance. And really, you want to be good. You want to look good, feel good, do good. That's what I say. It's a triad of change there. So the first rule of effective personal branding is not to just look good, but also be good. Every organization, regardless of size, is challenged to remain differentiated, significant, and relevant. Isn't that the truth? Like, we have to remain relevant. We have to engage in current conversations. We need to engage with our community. So you really are a product. Personal branding can tell your prospects why they should choose you over somebody else, control how other people perceive you, influence what others think of you, tell prospects what you stand for. So really important. And I love this because it really, when you start to focus on your personal branding, you can accelerate your success. When you build a persuasive personal brand, you can have instant credibility and celebrity. You can create a brand that attracts clients, promoters, JV opportunities. You gain a competitive edge. You can premium price yourself, and you can brand yourself for authority. So you can really increase business as well, like I've just said. One of my clients had this to say, Narelle type: Rachel effortlessly helped me create my personal brand, which tied in beautifully with my business branding. I have used Rachel's services on a number of occasions, and I felt I was in the hands of the expert on each occasion. Since creating my personal brand, I have seen an increase in business, and I feel I am representing myself and my business authentically and seamlessly. And so Narelle has received a lot of media attention and focus, interviews, etc., as a result of really focusing in on her personal branding. So your brand equity. I really want you to be honest about this. Are you currently branding yourself? Are you the only choice brand? Or are you a generic brand? It's a tough question, isn't it? And so if anyone has any questions, go to the microphone. That means go to the chat room and send your questions through to me. Actually, that'd be great if you could do that, if there's something you want me to provide an explanation of. So like I said, your goal is to position your brand strategically, facilitate your JV opportunities, attract clients and promoters, etc. So it really is important, if you've got a notebook, just quickly jot down your immediate thoughts about what is your brand goal. Like, what is your intention around your brand? What do you want to achieve? Like, our presentation is about branding yourself for recognition, results, and rewards. How to position your brand for success. So, what do you want to achieve? Tongue-in-cheek, world domination. Business growth. Greater market share, celebrity status, recognition of the authority. Credibility in your field of expertise. Whatever it is, write it down. Take a minute and just jot those down. So moving into our part 2, you really do need to have, when you're building your personal brand, a game plan. You need to do your reconnaissance, strategically review your existing brand, create an action plan, and then launch your brand yourself action plan. So as part of your reconnaissance, you really do need to get expert advice. Determine what you need to know, source relevant information, apply the knowledge that you obtain. That's the most important thing. And so one of my colleagues had this to say, Deborah Thompson-Radel from 3 Door Media: when it comes to branding and creating your celebrity image, there is no better expert on the subject than Rachel Quilty of JumptheQ. Rachel's professionalism, quality, and attention to detail is exemplary. She not only walks the talk, she gets the results for her clients and students worldwide in terms of brand recognition. It's my pleasure to recommend her to you if you are looking to go to the next level with your personal brand to achieve greater success. And so, that's a lovely comment by Deborah And I think what's really important there is, you know, one of the things that I'm tagged with, people introduce me, they say, Rachel walks a talk. And I can show you like a dozen testimonials or feedback forms where people have actually said that Rachel talks a talk, walks a talk. And so I often say that, you know, I would like my walk to be louder than my talk. And I also say that, you know, if my brand's bigger than my client's brand, I'm not doing my job well enough. So my idea is that the people that I work with, they do become superstars. They are known globally. They become leaders. And, you know, I really enjoy working with people that operate with that level of intensity and professionalism. And, you know, that aren't, you know, that they're flexible and they're able to, you know, pivot very quickly. And so, you know, sometimes you need a fresh perspective. We've had, at the moment during COVID, there was lots of little trainings around personal branding, you know, your colors and your fonts and getting some templates for your social media. And then on the other hand, people were saying, well, it's about how often you post. So which to me is just really, you know, literally one hundredth of your personal branding, which is your brand communication plan. So we really do need a fresh perspective. And, you know, it's interesting. I had Gillian Emmett, as she's an Australian actress. She was doing a US film, Suing the Devil. You may have heard of it. It kind of got a lot of media attention at the time. So I was in the US when it was released. And Gillian said, "Hi, Rachel, unique point of view, refreshing food for thought, thanks." So Gillian and I had a conversation about how she could position her brand as an actress. Obviously, there's hundreds, thousands of actresses, and how she could, you know, position herself in her personal brand to really stand out. Another person that sent me through some lovely feedback was Ron Evans. He was the regional president for Las Vegas chapter, International Association of US Government Contractors. And so he was, you know, procuring contractors to support their supply chain, or to supply government, I should say. So he said this: if you desire to reach your goals, I had this good fortune to enroll in Rachel Quilty's program. I was really interested in improving the market share for my company. Rachel's JumptheQ program was not just a cookie cutter approach to business. To my surprise, I was challenged to look at my thoughts, actions holding me back from the success that I was capable of. And so, like I said, if anyone's got any questions, you know, drop them in the chat room. So let's move on. Next step in our game plan. So you've done your recon. You know, we know a little bit or a lot about personal branding now. And we're looking at who are the thought leaders, who are the experts in this field. And then we want to strategically look at personal branding from a perspective of strategically positioning your personal brand to dominate the market. So these are strategical principles for positioning your brand. So position your personal brand strategically to facilitate JV opportunities, to measurably improve your professional image, personal brand, and brand equity. And so we talked about how to position your brand for success, how you can achieve recognition, results, and rewards. So it is really about strategically managing your personal brand. And the one thing that I want you to remember is this: personal branding is the prerequisite to success. And so when you're thinking about positioning your brand, it's interesting because Scott Letourneau from Nevada Corporate Planners said this, right? Personal branding is so important to any business owner's success, and the person you want to interview is the authority, Rachel Quilty. So it's interesting because why Scott was saying that is because he'd read my book, and at that time I was launching the book. I'd spent nearly a year, as I said, studying, researching, consolidating my consultations, and creating this action plan, creating this system to manage your branding from concept to commercialization. And the reason he said that was because at the time, personal branding was about your professional image and your personal style, and stylists were celebrities, and those people that they were making over and dressing were, you know, iconic personal brands. And I'm not going to mention names, you'll know who they are. And so it was all about their personal image. And so what we do know is that a definable style makes a personal brand more influential. However, I was moving it to recognize that behind the scenes there was an incredible business acumen. There was big business branding principles being applied to this personal brand, and so they were building an empire. And I think Kim Kardashian is an excellent example of that. Moving forward, and you know, she has been recognized by Forbes Women now as one of those people that has incredible business acumen, insofar as she's created brand loyalty that is almost it's like literally a record, insofar as there's no one that has come close to matching her level of brand loyalty. So let's look at the principles for positioning your brand as an authority. We look at A is for attributes. So what are your brand attributes? I'm going to quickly walk through these. U is for unique. T is for territory. O is for opportunity. R is for reliability. I is for image. T is for trustworthy. Y is for yourself. And so when we talk about attributes, what are the best positive personal attitudes and attributes to support your brand? Like Richard Branson, and I like this little the little characters here. What's your best attribute? Mr. Strong, Miss Congeniality. So, you know, we think about the Spice Girls and each of them having a very distinctive personality. So what is yours? You know, Victoria Beckham is somebody I often talk about insofar as style and transitioning your brand and leveraging your brand to, you know, move into a different career. And so, you know, we're looking at how to differentiate yourself by your brand attributes. And one of the things that I was reading was that many studies, actually there's so many studies it's just ridiculous, questioning thousands of clients when asked why they purchased products or services from the top performers, inevitably that person was described as nice. And so we talk about people, you know, sometimes there's this kind of aversion to being nice. And so I think it's one of those things we have to recognize that this level of human touch, customer service, is so neglected and overlooked and underestimated that it really does create a competitive edge situation. And that's why personal brands who actually have that can, you know, facilitate that level of brand loyalty through customer you know, contact and making sure that their customer touch points are on point is really, really relevant. So one of my clients and a good friend, Melissa Forum, said, Rachel Quilty's training is priceless. She will tell you what people say about your brand is what you capitalize on to continue to grow your business. And I guess that, you know, really means that you often become known for your area of expertise. So somebody says, like, who should I be talking to about personal branding? You become synonymous with that. Rachel Quilty is the person, she's the authority in personal branding that you want to speak to. You know, etc., etc., etc. You know, what is your field of expertise? Are you the person that is referenced, and are you the one that has that attribute? Is that's capitalized? Like I said, people often say, you know, you walk your talk, and so it's good. It's one of those things that it's an attempt to be congruent with my brand. U is for unique. How do you express yourself in a unique way? What is distinctive about you? This can be like a gift or a signature. It can be something personal in your customer service. It can be the way that you dress. It must be something that distinguishes you, that you feel quite natural. And, you know, it's not something that's pretentious or unnatural. It's actually, you know, just the embodiment of those attributes that you feel comfortable with. And so, you know, I liken this to Madonna and her look and style, Michael Jackson, his look and style, very distinctive, very comfortable, very congruent with their personal brand, very congruent with their own personality. So I love Judy Garland's quote. She says, always be the first-rate version of yourself instead of the second-rate version of somebody else. So be unique. T is for territory. And this is focusing on your brand and its area of achievement. What one area of specialization will be the most helpful to my brand? What's my niche or micro niche, my niche? What is customer service? And is it customer service? Is it product knowledge, etc.? So you need to live and breathe your niche. And one of my UK clients said this: your passion about branding shines through your presentation. It's evident that you are living and breathing what you are teaching. You are inspirational, Rachel, and you have made me think about how I am branding myself. Thank you. So beautiful comment there. You need to be walking your talk. H is for hook. Be memorable, visual, attention grabbing. And really this term is a PR term. It's like, what's your hook and what's your claim to fame or shame? What's your celebrity identity? What's your angle? What's your story? What's the title? What's your image? What's the hook? Like I said, often people give a referral for no other reason than they are known. And so this is interesting because, you know, it's kind of, this comment is, if you have distinguished yourself via your attributes, your uniqueness, your territory, or, you know, this kind of something memorable about you that is a hook that media would love to know about, it really does give people a referral point. So people will often refer others to you because they know you. And so it's about brand awareness. People need to know who you are. And often the number one people in your field or marketplace or your organization got there because they were more prominent, they gained more exposure, they were more visual, they gained more brand awareness. So, you know, Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, and his unique character and his you know, language and his boldness. It's really lovely that we're having Khaki Day, 15th of November, you know, supporting the wildlife warriors. And, you know, that was somebody that he had the hook, he had the attributes, he had the character, and he really lived it. And, you know, so people would say, you know, if they met Steve, they would say he's exactly what he's like on TV. And, you know, that's how you want to be, congruent in real and congruent as you're exposed on, you know, various platforms. O is for opportunity. Think like a leader. Take advantage of opportunities. Take the opportunity to take a lead role, say yes, and then figure it out. Think like a marketer and tap into trends. Perfectionism will sabotage you. So, you know, I talk about Paris Hilton, you know, very opportunistically took advantage of some of the events that surrounded her life. Likewise, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City, and, you know, being able to become a producer and create movies and actually leverage the TV series into movies, you know, is really quite unique that she's been able to do that. So it's really about saying yes. And I'm going to illustrate this with some of the PR that I was able to achieve. So I sent out a press release, and it was picked up by various newspapers and various magazines, and then as a result I indicated that we had a opportunity to do a photo shoot around that. So they took advantage of that, and so that landed us a full page spread in Grazia magazine that became the Channel 9 Today Show interview around some of that subject matter. So it's about saying yes to opportunities, but it's also about providing an opportunity. So I was able to go, you know what, I know what the media needs. This is what we're going to do. I can get this, I can manage this. And so we were able to leverage that and get a lot of PR for that client specifically as well. R is for reliability. Your message and your performance must be consistent. A consistent flow of information is needed to raise awareness. Brand consistency is critical to developing brand loyalty. Brand inconsistency erodes confidence. It also erodes trust in the brand. So you need to be somebody who can be relied on. Overall total public image should be consistent with your brand, and personal brand consistent with your business brand, mission and service standards as well. Develop habits and activities that support your personal brand tone. So what's said about you? Rachel Quilty is a true professional. Not all presenters walk their talk, but Rachel most certainly does. Her speaking, presentation and training is exceptional, with loads of great content and lots of helpful information. I highly recommend Rachel Quilty and JumptheQ to anyone wanting to improve their brand presentation. I is for image and identity. A coordinated, consistent professional image becomes your signature, so you should really look at developing a signature style. I talk about Angelina Jolie, George Clooney, Victoria Beckham. So personal style is definitely noticed, and we know that definable style is more influential. So it's important that you do create that signature look or strategic look. Be memorable for the right reasons. If a woman is poorly dressed, you notice the clothes. If she is impeccably dressed, you notice a woman, Coco Chanel. And so, we have these people that have presented or created signature styles. Charlie Chaplin, Marilyn Monroe, Coco Chanel, Audrey Hepburn, John Lennon. And this is what Di Watson, the owner of Brisbane Circle magazine, said. Rachel writes a regular column for Brisbane Circle magazine advising women about style, personal branding. Her column is clever and witty and packed with helpful tips. Readers report that her style seminars are excellent. Rachel walks what she talks and always presents as a woman of elegance. So lovely comment there. T is for trustworthy. Your brand is your promise. Monitor your brand's performance, your customer experience, your customer touch points, your reputation, your goodwill, your mistakes. As we're walking through all these principles, each of these parts is really over a 2-hour training. So I'm giving you a kind of a micro lesson around some of these issues. So your promise, must be, T is for trustworthy. You must be reliable. And I think Tiger Woods is a good illustration of what happens when there's a perceived loss of your brand promise. So your promise, when I was this is a comment by Trish Perkins. She's an author, and she has been able to obtain some of the most incredible media in the US, in the southern, the mid southern states, as well as UK. When I approached Rachel, I already felt badly branded and broken because I had been in jail. I was passionate about my fraud prevention message and had no idea how to represent it with my past undermining me. Rachel's branding gave me back my self-confidence. My brand has credibility, and so do I, thanks to her thorough and systematic approach. Now I confidently stand out in the marketplace. My branding supports my message. Learn the secrets from Rachel Quilty, truly the authority in personal branding. And so, Trish went from somebody who wanted to hide away to someone who became incredibly bold and audacious. And, her message about watching out for scammers and watching out for those who were seeking to, behave fraudulently, really gave her a great mission, and she was able to achieve literally just media, press, TV interviews, national, literally with audiences of millions of people regularly tuning in. Good friend of the Kiyosakis. She's written a book. She's written several books now. But like I said, Channel 10, all this media as a result, because, obviously having gone to jail as a result of falling in, being literally not seduced, but being entrapped into this situation, and then having to experience the consequences of her own naivety, and being scammed by somebody who was actually, acting financially fraudulently. you know, you really do become bold when you have a message to share with people and you really understand that that's your brand purpose. So I guess it's one of those things, it's a wonderful story insofar as it gives you hope and inspiration that irrespective of what has happened in your life, what crisis, what chaos, what circumstances, there is always a connection to your brand purpose, and your brand journey is tracking you for your brand mission. So make sure that you're, you know, recognizing that all these things that have happened to you are for a reason, and that this is, you know, the life lessons are to actually be able to then become a solution for other clients and other customers. So why is for yourself? You are your own PR department. Your brand should identify you as a leader, position yourself, command authority, deliver on promises made. Really, you know, that's the one thing that you can do. You know, show up. That is one of those pieces of advice that people say. So many people, Jim Rohn has said that as well. So I always ask the question, is your brand a reflection? If your brand is a reflection of what you're capable of, what's your brand saying about you? And so that's one of those questions we drill down in action step number 1, you know, defining and determining your existing personal brand and looking at what's being said about you now, what is your existing brand. So if you have any questions, just chuck them in the chat. That'd be great. Excellent. So next step in our game plan. So we've done our recon. We've strategically considered how we position our brand. Next, we want to, you know, literally create a strategic plan which incorporates an action plan. So I created Brand Yourself action plan. So let's walk through these action steps. Action step number 1, discover your existing personal brand. Action step number 2, determine your brand target audience. Oh, let me go back. Action step number 3, define your true personal brand. Action step number 4, design your unique personal brand. Action step number 5, dominate your marketplace as the authority. Action step number 6, develop your brand signature style. Action step number 7, decide your desired outcomes, resources, skill set. Action step number 8, devise your personal brand marketing plan. Action step number 9, deploy your personal brand message. And action step number 10, deliver your personal brand promise. So really, and then the next step is, you know, positioning your expertise, and then level 3 would be positioning yourself as the authority. And so action step number 1, I'm just going to quickly wander through these, involves a completely honest assessment of your existing brand and reviewing your existing image skills. And it in our fuller trainings, we do a deep dive and look at your story, your reputation, your first impressions, your last impressions, your image and your performance, your responses, your habits, and we complete a personal SWOT analysis. In action step number 2, determine your target audiences. We look at, really it's important to ensure you give your brand the correct focus, provide your clients the benefits they require and meet their expectations. You have to know who your customers are. And so we look at our target audience and customers very differently to a lot of other organizations. The goal of your brand is to target the best prospects, develop a unique market niche, positioning your business as the best solution, maintaining visibility and credibility, and becoming the only choice brand. So action step number 3, define your true personal brand. So personal branding is defining your dreams and putting them into action. Your personal brand is the outer workings of your life purpose, I say. So action step number 3 has 3 parts. Part A, the vision and the mission. Part B, the skill set. And part C, the mindset. So each of these are literally like a 2-hour training. Action step number 4, dominate your market as the authority. An important distinction to successful branding is to design your personal brand with your goal in mind. Positioning your brand as the authority and as the market niche leader is our goal. So we do a really deep dive around what happens when you apply that filter and how you go about doing that. Action step number 5, design your unique personal brand. In this section, we consider 4 steps to creating your personal brand identity and style guide. A major element of your personal brand is your personal brand identity. Your personal brand identity is made up as we mentioned, your brand name, your associations, your messages and symbolism, your image. And so these brand elements really need to be, when you're thinking about your personal brand style guide, you need to be thinking about your ideal work lifestyle, your personal brand personality, your archetypes, target audience, communication, color strategy, online branding, personal domain. So many things are encapsulated into that action step. So when we look at action step number 6, design your unique personal brand, we start to identify your best colors, styles, personality, attitude, recognize and become comfortable with your personal style, style markers or statement pieces, and then fully integrate them into your personal brand strategic style. So it's all about creating this, it's really strategic image management that we're looking at here, and how that differs from a generic brand to an only choice brand, to how you might be positioning yourself as the authority or the expert. So action step number 6, creating that an impact with your image, with your personal brand presence, your personality style, your strategic identity, your signature style markers. You can see how it's not just color and style, or it's not just whether you wear your favorite color or not, whatever that may be. It's one of those things. It's so much more important that you do a deep dive and do that very strategically. Action step number 7, devise your personal brand marketing plan. This step will assist you to market and package and promote yourself to achieve your personal goals. And the how part of your personal brand should be a solid marketing plan. And so people often ask, what goes first, branding or marketing? And so really the one thing that I often see go wrong is where we have a message to market mismatch. And so that's because the marketing hasn't been informed by the branding. So branding always goes first. Branding will inform strategic vision, your strategic plan, your strategic goals, your operational plans, your customer service. It will inform every aspect of your business. So obviously we look at marketing plans, we do a situational analysis, we do the SWOT analysis, and we do a marketing mix. Or I've created our own formula, which is a personal brand blend, which is looking at quite a few more items than the traditional 4 that you look at for the marketing mix. We develop a marketing plan. We look at marketing strategies, your go-to-market strategy, your brand positioning. There's a lot of psychology. There's a lot of things that we look at that most people don't look at when they're thinking about their marketing or their brand communication plans. And we really look at psychological triggers. We look at neuroscience. We look at whether we're, we have an influence checklist that we literally look at as well. Action step number 8 is decide your desired outcomes, resources, skill set. Strategic brand planning will be the keystone to your brand success, and planning your resource requirements is a very valuable and often overlooked component of your personal brand planning. And I love that step, very important. We actually look at the 5 W's and 1 H and the what if, and it's really important actually. It's one of those, take the command center role, put on your CEO filter, and really plan out what needs to happen, what resources you need, what skills you need to achieve this greater goal of positioning yourself as the authority, to gain that and establish your recognition, rewards, results, and go from there. Action step number 9, deploy your personal brand message. Visibility is more important than ability to some degree. In a competitive, fast-moving global economy, you must be noticed in order to succeed. When working remotely, your visibility may decrease, depending on how active you are on social media, etc. Ensure that you're communicating your value with every email, every post, every phone call, etc. Deploying your personal brand message includes considering and developing your compelling personal brand message, crafting your brand message, your testimonials and endorsements, your customer buying strategies. So I've just listed off those 4 points, but each of those points is literally 20-minute training around creating a compelling brand message. Actually, it's probably longer, but we drill down into it, how to obtain great testimonials and endorsements. What are our customer buying strategies? What are the existing buying strategies? Is our marketing and branding, targeting those buying strategies? Your action taking, so we look at, how you respond, your brand message conveyance, what are those channels or means of communicating that you use to convey your message. We create a communication plan. We also create a launch for a successful brand as part of a communication plan. So Pablo Picasso actually said action is a foundational key to all success, and it really is. So you can do all the planning in the world, and the research tells us that 2 hours planning will save us 8 hours work. However, we then need to implement and execute. So finally, let's look at action step number 10, deliver your personal brand promise. You want to have an incredibly positive personal brand, and it comes down to your personal performance. So that's long term. You must consistently, persistently deliver on your promise, because the brand promise is the most important aspect of your brand. To ensure you deliver your personal brand promise, it becomes vital to monitor your brand's performance in relation to following areas of your brand. So we start looking at your customer satisfaction, your customer touch points, listing all of those, identifying the messages they convey. What is your human touch? What are some of the research and results that we see around this, and client drop-off? Your nurtured target audience, like really drilling down to who they are and what their preferences are, what their expectations are, what colors offer a solution to them, a whole host of things. Your promise delivered, so it's really kind of putting a framework around what is your promise and how you're going to deliver that. Your reputation, creating goodwill, even looking at your mistakes and how you can leverage that in a positive manner. And so as I put this slide in with the microphone so that it reminded me to, have a quick little chat to everyone and say, please put your questions into the chat, because I want to be able to answer them at the end. It's really interesting because one day one of my first webinars, this is going back a little while now, I said, please send in your questions, and I got 70 questions, and it's like, okay, this may may not be able to answer all these questions on this webinar. So, but please feel free to drop them in, because it's certainly something I can follow up with as well. Part 5, we're on the big finale here. So part 5 is really the mistakes, and I call it the death by don'ts. So, deadly personal branding mistakes. Avoid these common mistakes. It's too late. Fail to strategically design your ideal personal brand. Fail to intentionally position your personal brand. Only talent, good looks, and connections matter. And assuming that personal branding is expensive. So I'm going to look at these in a little bit more detail. So avoiding these common mistakes, a lack of planning and moving to the how-to too quickly, resisting change. I'm not an extroverted self-promoter. You underestimate how powerful your personal brand and personal image really is. You don't have a mission or a message or a purpose. Oh my goodness, it's really, once you start on this personal branding process, you go through a system like Brand Yourself Action Plan. There is no way you will not connect with your purpose. You'll be very clear about it. So it's never too late. This is a good friend of mine, Pina Forenza, and she has been a wedding dress designer, and so 2011, she was invited to the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Festival, and so that was her debut. So I attended that fashion festival, and you can see her gowns are just spectacular. She was front cover of all the newspapers and magazines, etc. But you know, Pina was in her mid-70s when she was pursuing this, and so it's never too late to really establish yourself as an incredible designer. And so really kudos to Pina Forenza and Forenza Gowns. So you need to be strategic around your branding. Often people aren't strategic. They're not thinking about their personal brand or their brand image to the degree that you should. And like I was saying, often people have written books and then they have these covers that are created by graphic designers or website designers, or they just mock one up. And it's one of those things where it's so important for you to be able to have a brand style guide, to actually have a design brief, and that you never have an inconsistency with your branding and questions about, you know, where it's at, because you have defined it. You're strategically branding yourself. And so JumptheQ has a very distinctive branding, and you know, like I said, the teal green, the font, the, you know, the white space, the images, the disassociation, all very intentional. The colors, you know, that color wasn't just I picked it from a, you know, Pantone swatch. It was actually I created that color. I actually went, I want to mix the colors that represent the solutions for my clients, and I want to add all these little elements in, and this was the color that was created. And so it's one of those things where it represents solutions to my clients. It meets their demographic needs as well, and it's you know, appealing and attractive. It's professional, etc. I shouldn't say etc. I don't know. That's a new phrase, something new coming out today. So often people aren't strategically positioning themselves. They're not thinking, well, how do I differentiate myself from being a generic brand to being the only choice brand? You know, for example, let me give you an illustration. You're a bookkeeper and you can brand yourself as a bookkeeper, or you could brand yourself insofar as you want to be the, you know, the CEO of a large accounting firm. And can you see how there's a very big difference between the way you would brand those two organizations? So you need to be thinking about where is the final, what's your strategic vision, and positioning yourself strategically from day one. So many people would know Robin Henderson. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. Most people would know her as an incredible networking expert. So it was interesting because she invited me to contribute to one of the books that she was writing, How to Run a Successful Business from Home and Stay Sane. So this was my first foray into being an author. And, you know, we had a launch in Sydney. We had, Koshi's there, their media, Pinstripes Media there. You know, we had a really great launch. Rachel Quilty, and this is what Robin Henderson said, Rachel Quilty was a contributing author to the book How to Run a Successful Business from Home and Stay Sane. Rachel's chapter on better image, better bottom line was filled with very helpful tips and strategies on capturing a greater market, building presence, and ensuring long-term business success. Rachel can certainly help you control your bottom line and contribute greatly to the overall success of the book. Rachel's ideas are practical, achievable, and grounded. So it's such a great thing to say. So this is one of those things. Often people think I can't grow my personal brand because I don't have some, you know, innate expertise or talent. And so I've got an illustration here, Kim Kardashian and Meryl Streep. And so we know that sometimes it's not so much a craft insofar as being an actress like Meryl Streep. It's actually what you've been exposed to and the business acumens that come along with that. And so, you know, sometimes what you've experienced in your life gives you a context that other people don't have. And so it's really interesting. So some people might say, like often people say Madonna wasn't a great singer, but she's absolutely a great entertainer, and she's absolutely an incredible marketer. Likewise, Kim Kardashian. I mean, her initial passion was around clothing and you know, and then it went on from there. You know, being exposed to you know, so much as a result of her family and their connections, etc. So you don't have to be remarkable talent. You just need to be able to, you know, leverage what exposure and experience and context you have that others may not have. A great background, Hilary Swank. One of her favourite quotes is from Dr. Seuss. "Oh, The Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss is still one of my favourite books, she says. The part I love most: you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. And so she says, it reminds me I can choose every day the kind of person I want to be. And so most people, you know, may know Hilary Swank as an actress, but they don't know her background. They don't know the levels from which she's actually been able to climb out of. And so it's really important that we don't dismiss our personal branding just because of where we've come from, our family of origin, our experiences along the way, the circumstances that we've, you know, unforeseen circumstances that we've experienced as a result of that. We can't allow that to stop us. It doesn't prevent us from building a personal brand and having great influence. And it's not about the way you look either. And so here we have Donald Trump and we have Angelina Jolie, you know, reputed one of the most beautiful women in the world. And we have Donald Trump, who, you know, still has hair issues. And yet we have these great personal brands. We have iconic brands that, you know, today still demand media attention globally. And you don't have to be in the public eye. Often people are thinking, well, you know, my personal brand, I'm not comfortable being in front of the camera, I'm not comfortable with my photos being up on social media, etc., etc. And yet when we think about Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, we think about this person that was behind the scenes for a very, very long time, and it wasn't until later when he created this, this enormous platform and empire that people were asking for him to speak and be keynote speaker and all that. So he was able to create this empire and still create a personal brand as a result. But it was really, I mean, he was behind the scenes engineering technically this, as opposed to Kim Kardashian, which really has had, you know, this enormous public profile. And I love this, you know, do you have to be well behaved? Like, do you have to be, you know, I talk about perfectionism and how it can often sabotage you. So if you're pursuing perfection and you think you can't have a personal brand unless you have some kind of, you know, well-polished background and life has been perfection, and, you know, you're sadly mistaken, because your personal brand can, you know, anyone can be an incredible personal brand. And I think about, you know, the bounty hunter, and I was on Honolulu going for a tour ride. This is in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, and, you know, we went past the bounty hunter, and, you know, you think about that, they've created this TV empire, and, you know, this series of debt collection, and it's one of those things, you know, this is somebody that's not this well refined, polished individual. This is somebody who's an expert in their field. They're, you know, being able to leverage their expertise. They have something different about them, and they've been able to capitalize on that. Likewise, you know, I often think about Charlie Sheen, and I, you know, do some branding lessons around Charlie because, Charlie Sheen, because, you know, he is quite masterful in some of his branding and the way that he's been able to capitalize on the disasters that have occurred in his life, and we all know that. He kind of made a spoof about the train wreck of his life as he was launching his new series, you know, whereas we have Sandra, gosh, I'm having a moment here. Bullock, you know, who really is, you know, perceived as, you know, a really nice person, careful and conscientious, and yet, you know, she has this kind of the girl next door feel about her, and then she has this kind of very you know, feminine ability to kind of go from beauty to the girl next door. So you don't have to be well behaved. And look, we don't know what happens in the lives of these people, so I'm just drawing conclusions from, you know, years of just paying attention. And it's one of those things, her reputation is that of a nice person, a nice, possibly somebody that's very conscious and careful about the way that she's portrayed, you know, whilst, you know, there's been incidents in Charlie Sheen's life that he just went, you know, it's happened, I'm going to leverage it. And, you know, to some extent, it was brilliant branding, brilliant maneuvers that he was able to do that. So do you have to be somebody you're not? And so I've got a picture here of Dane Edna, and it's one of those things where sometimes you have a persona that you put on, and then sometimes, like Ellen, you just come out and you be yourself. I am literally going to be who I am and make no apology for it. So do we have to be normal? You know, we've got Julia Roberts, and then we've got Lady Gaga, who, you know, she made global media when she wore a steak in protest of, you know, beef. So it's kind of like, you know, do we have to be that kind of normal, which I believe is only a cycle on a washing machine anyway. So no, we don't have to be normal. We don't have to be fitting some kind of stereotypical mold of being a nice, normal person to build our personal brand. Do we have to have it all together? You know, it's interesting because here we have Britney Spears and Madonna. You know, Madonna is so incredibly tightly organized, and, you know, maybe not so much now, but, you know, while she was building her career in world domination, and you know, when she was the halftime show at the Super Bowl back in 2012, I think it was February 2012, maybe 11, you know, she was really had, like, every minute of the day was organized. And then we had, you know, Britney Spears' life falling apart. And do we have to have it all together to build our personal brand? Absolutely not. So one of the things that people don't do is they don't expose their brand. So they're wondering why they're not #1 spot, and it's because they haven't, you know, ensure that there's sufficient brand name awareness around them, their personal brand and their business and their expertise. And so we know research has shown that there's a direct correlation between a product's level of awareness and its market share. So really important, market share equals brand awareness. Even more fascinating is this fairly common perception that a better known product is a better product, whether it is or isn't. Let me just read this. If you are serious about growing your business and want to make every dollar count, I recommend Rachel's services to you. The investment will save you thousands of dollars, stress and time. It will, in fact, make you money by supporting your brand and sending exactly the message you intend it to. So it's important that you start planning and you start preparing your brand for authority, for recognition, for results and rewards. So you need to be thinking about, how do I save time ultimately? And that's by planning your personal brand and leveraging that brand. It's not simply just jumping to some of those how-to programs. You know, it might be your brand communication plan. Well, you need to post on this day, you need to use these templates. That's just the how. And you know, most people jump forward and they want to know how to build their brand without having actually created and designed their brand. So they're putting something out there that is incongruent. It's, you know, it may look nice, but it's not necessarily have a depth to it. So one of my clients said this: Rachel provides great tips and advice. Importantly, she also goes further than that. Rachel educates people on the whys, not just the hows. this is vital. If we don't have a reason to change, we never will. Rachel will help you take a good look at your personal brand, show you what messages you're giving off and how to change any that you want to. Strategically design your brand. One of our clients said this, Rachel, very informative, makes you realize that branding is a science, and your strategies outlined in your presentation underlines the need to incorporate those strategies up front in your marketing plan. So we often resist change, and to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done, don't you? You need to start branding yourself for survival. Otherwise, you're going to be like a dinosaur and become extinct and disappear. You know, I often talk about ghost protocol. It's like, where are you? Ghost protocol, where nobody sees you, nobody knows you, nobody identifies you. So you need to lift yourself out of a ghost protocol kind of process and make yourself visible and give yourself an identity. Are you a quiet achiever? One of my clients was incredibly introspective, and she said this, Rachel, wow, thank you so much for the support. I'm looking forward to catching up with you and showing you around the gallery, as when we had our sessions, it was all an idea and a dream. A large part of making this a reality was definitely the tools and strategies you taught me. You empowered me. I hope you feel proud when you see what you've helped and continue to help me achieve. My warmest and sincerest gratitude, Sam. So Sam is an incredible designer. So are you challenging yourself? Are you being challenged? Are you, merely just kind of sailing along, because really we're in this world for personal growth. We're in this world for professional development. We're here to be challenged, to grow, and to, I've just completed a 30-day personal branding growth plan because I really wanted to challenge my clients to grow and to develop and evolve their brands. And so Narelle had this to say, when it comes to personal branding, Rachel is the authority and she will work with you for your success. One thing I love about Rachel is that she won't back away from challenging you to use your gifts. And we all need to be taken outside of our comfort zone in order to better live, better work better, and share our message better. I wholeheartedly recommend Rachel Quilty to you if you are serious about claiming your expert status. So, how to kill your brand. Research indicates 67% of first impressions are accurate. So we really need to be focused on that strategic image management, our first impressions. And Kerry Burley, she's a politician, she said this, I had my first consultation with JumptheQ when I wasn't happy with the results I was achieving during my first few weeks in an election campaign for a local government. With just a few changes and suggestions, I was amazed at the turnaround and transformation I felt almost immediately. I was able to portray a much more professional image. I felt more confident, relaxed, and in turn received more favourable results. My campaign was hugely successful, and I believe the advice and support I received from JumptheQ was invaluable. So you really do need to know your purpose, and the question is, do you know yours? Are you very clear about your brand purpose and your life purpose? If not, then you really need to connect with unearthing your brand purpose as part of your branding plan. So in The Alchemist, it says, to realize one's destiny is one's only obligation. And so I liken personal branding to Steve Rogers, who was the soldier in Captain America. He originally was rejected by the army. He went back and he became one of the soldiers that was going to be a super soldier. He was injected with the super soldier serum and he became Captain America. And so we know from the comics and the movies that he became this incredible hero. And this is what personal branding is all about. It's connecting with your purpose. Originally rejected, but then went on to, continue to challenge himself, take a risk, and then become an incredible hero. So that's what you can do for your clients. Become a solution and a hero to them. You really need to back yourself as part of your personal branding. Julie Lewin said this, hi Rachel, your book, Brand Yourself, is one of the best books I've ever read on finding your purpose. Even though I've read it, I'm reading it again and love it. It's a super book. And I don't know if many of you know Raymond Aaron. He is one of those people that is incredibly, his area of expertise is really around managing time and mentoring and, oh gosh, goal setting. So he said there's making your personal brand something special. If you want to move mountains in your life, your personal brand had better stand for something special. Brand Yourself book is great whether you're already a successful leader or wish to become one. So Raymond Aaron said that about my book, which was lovely of him to do that. I was invited to guest speak at one of his events as well in Melbourne. So creating a personal brand legacy, we need to be thinking of this phase that we need to walk through. So we need to have phase 1, the plan, brand yourself action plan. Phase 2, brand yourself the expert. Phase 3, brand yourself the authority. Phase 4, brand yourself the celebrity. And we walk through these 4 stages as part of our program and our system within JumptheQ. We walk through those stages. There's very distinct steps that we take. So the question is, do you want to have a legacy brand? Do you want to make a difference? Did you matter? That's the question. How were you significant to others? How did you leave your mark? How will you change a life or your life? What did you do that only you could do? And so, often I have a $1 million mission, and likewise all my clients come in and they usually commit to $1 million mission as well, which over time they like to achieve. So the question is, what can you achieve? What could you do if you had a global brand and a significant market share within your field? What could you achieve if you were a recognized authority? And when you speak to people, they listened and took action. Would you like more clients when you brand yourself as the authority and dominate your niche? Are you premium pricing yourself through differentiation? Are you working less to earn more money? Do you play more when you do? Have you got a signature style? Signature style means instant recognition of you, your business and your professionalism. Are you recognized as the authority in your field? When you follow a step-by-step system, and you'll be rapidly recognized as the authority and dominate your niche. So improving your brand is an investment in building your professional profile, reputation and results you will achieve. So is your message being heard, or is it like this message in a bottle? Does your brand need rescuing? Does it need a little life buoy? You need to know which direction to take, because there's definitely a right way and a wrong way. And I've spent 20 years working up systems to actually make sure that you go the right way. And over that time, I've also gone the hard way, and I've also recognized where I failed to prepare. I made it so much harder for myself. I missed opportunities instead of creating the plan, following the management system, following the action steps, and making sure that I did it the easy way. Because what happens is you actually gain a lot of momentum and productivity when you do connect with a plan. So the question is, what are you waiting for? Are you frustrated with your existing status? Are you not being recognized? Do you feel like you're on this merry-go-round of life? Are you waiting for, it to be your turn? Well, you know what? It is your turn. It's your turn right now. Are you wondering why you're here? If you're questioning why you're here, what's your purpose, what's your brand mission, then you're perfectly positioned to be on this webinar and this training. What will happen if you don't have a chance? Take a chance on your brand. What will you lose if you don't pursue your personal brand? What will you fail to achieve? Who will I fail? Who will I fail to help? And that's such an important question. And that's the reason why I feel like I'm called to personal branding, because I know I have $1 million missions for 1 million clients. And I know that ripple effect can, spread across the globe. Because you really are a hero to somebody. You have superpowers which are aligned to your skills and talents and life experiences. You really are a solution to somebody's problem. And you really have an incredible life mission to start right now. So it's time to break off the chains, let yourself grow, leave the baggage behind, and choose your next move. It's time for adventure. Start writing the script, start writing the ending to your story, taking the stage as the expert, to stand out from the crowd, and to start thinking strategically about your strategic vision and where you want to position your brand ultimately for success. So it starts with planning and preparation. We know that so that you can premium price yourself and name your price, you need to back yourself. And you need to start identifying yourself as a VIP, somebody that's important, because it really is your time to step forward. Are you ready now for this new ending? And so what's the secret to success? An amazingly simple personal branding makeover action plan that will catapult you into an A-list of your niche so that you capture the attention you deserve. So we've JumptheQ's complete step-by-step system to discovering, designing, and building your celebrity brand. You'll get crystal clear about your personal brand and success will take care of itself. And so what we've done is we've created a signature product for our clients. I spent a year creating this management system of building your brand. So we offer a 12-week Brand Yourself Action Plan live webinar training. It's valued at $4,997, and it goes through those action steps that we talked about. Week 1, what is your existing personal brand? Well, we talk about an introduction. Week 2, we look at action step number 1, discovering your existing brand, determining your brand's target audience. We walk through all those action steps like we ran through earlier. Devising your personal brand marketing plan, deciding your desired outcomes. So this is a live training that we do. It's 2 hours, and we do a deep dive into this issue. You have a workbook, you have a work journal. We do a check-in process on our live webinars, and so we walk through this incredible Brand Yourself action plan over 12 weeks. And this is what one of our clients said who did this. I've been in business for 2 years now, and I felt I needed to step it up a notch. And Rachel's systematic and strategic approach appealed to my preference for well-structured, organized, and simple-to-use programs. Life is busy enough. I've been working with Rachel and through the Brand Yourself action plan, and I am amazed at the content and insights I have uncovered. It is the exact work that any business owner who has been in business for a few years needs to undertake to keep moving forward and remain relevant in the marketplace. So brilliant. She goes on to say, working with Rachel has been a wonderful experience. She is insightful and genuinely interested in your unique contribution and message. I'm amazed at the structure, processes, and support available to me, and I know that this process will mean I won't waste any money on reworking or redesigning my brand in a way that's not consistent with my purpose. I have absolutely no hesitation in recommending Rachel Quilty and JumptheQ's Brand Yourself Action Plan. So we're also offering our VIP package, which includes the 12-week live webinar, as well as what I call an instant brand plan. So I'm going to spend an hour intensive coaching call with you. That's valued at $997. I'm also going to interview you and create a number of resources available around that. That's so I call that the Personal Brand Authority Interview, and that's valued at $1,497. We're also going to create for the VIP package that we're offering all our clients your personal brand ebook sales page. We're looking at creating the content for some social media posts as well. That's valued at $1,497. And we're creating what I call like an instant expert in your field. So your personal brand package, what we're putting into it for you to consider today is creating your signature brand, this 12-week Brand Yourself action plan. It's normally valued at $4,997. Our instant brand plan, your personal brand intensive coaching call, so we can really get you momentum around your brand very quickly. That's valued at $997. That instant brand authority, getting an interview and getting the resources to build your credibility quickly, that's $1,497. Instant brand expert, we're creating an ebook for you, that's $1,497. So we have a total value for our personal brand package or a VIP package, which is $8,988. But you're going to need some extra resources, so we're going to throw in a few bonuses. Brand Yourself action plan. Immediate access. So often people will not release the action plan or their trainings. It's week by week. We're going to release it immediately, and that's valued at $2,497. We have a second bonus, which is an hour personal coaching call, and that's around action step number 6, and that's valued at $997. We have a third bonus, which is another private coaching call. It's 1 hour, and it's around action step number 8. So we'll treat you like a VIP, and you'll really get a lot of value, because I know these are action steps where I have a lot of consultations, and I can offer you some support and advice and really guide you through some of these more critical action steps, and that's valued at $997. We have access to our A-list only VIP lounge pass. So we have a membership, and it's 1 month free access to JumptheQ's A-list VIP membership lounge. They're normally valued at $1,497. So our VIP personal brand package includes the 12-week Brand Yourself Action Plan valued at $4,997, the instant brand style, creating that the interview. We're creating instant brand awareness around your brand by creating an ebook. So we're interviewing you, we're creating an ebook, we're creating sales pages, we're creating social media posts and content, and then we have these bonuses available. Access to the Brand Yourself Action Plan immediately, personal coaching call around action step number 6, personal coaching call around action step number 8, as well as the bonus monthly access to our VIP lounge, and all of that is valued at $4,988. And so we have, for our VIP personal branding training package, it's valued at $14,479. And so I often quote Jim Rohn, the few who do are the envy of the many who only watch. So there are only, certain people that take action, that are really called to their purpose and really called to leverage their personal brand to become the authority. And so, I'm calling to those people that really want to focus on their personal brand in the new year and for the rest of the year. So we've got our special offer. Ordinarily is $4,497, but today we're offering it for $2,497, or 3 weekly payments of $997. Like I said, instead of $4,497, $2,497. And so for the first 8 people to take action, we're actually going to throw in 3 1-hour coaching calls, because we want to support you through some of these action steps and ensure that you're getting the best value. We want to really ensure that you're able to crystallize and gain clarity around your personal brand, so you can really launch very well, because action step 8 is one of those things where we're incorporated a brand launch, and I want to make sure that whatever product or whatever branding topic that you're launching, that we do it really well, and that's valued at $4,497. So our VIP personal brand package, like I said, it includes our 12-week Brand Yourself Action Plan. So we just create the system for you step by step. Follow the trainings, do the work, and you'll have an incredibly successful and significant brand that's valued at $4,997. Our instant brand style, we're looking at creating that interview, and then looking at our ebook, and that's a total value of $8,491. I'm listing all this. So we have all these bonuses as well, like I said, access to the site, personal coaching calls, the second personal coaching call, the 1 month free for $497, and we've got bonuses valued at $4,988. And I always get excited because we always have a special extra. Like I said, there's 3 1-hour strategic private coaching calls, and they're valued at $2,991. So they really are only available for the first 8 people that take action now. And so we have this total package valued at $16,488. So I want you to jump the queue and take action now. We have a 100% guarantee. The only thing you're going to lose really is your old brand. So you can pay in full, and we'll give you a bonus second month in the VIP lounge, and that really is creating another interview and ebook around a different subject. So it's a really incredible way to maintain your expertise following on from another month. It gives you a lot of social media content as well. So like I said, ordinarily 4497, and we're looking at today being 2497, or 3 payments of 999. So what I want you to do, if you want to jump on board, take advantage of our VIP package, it's certainly good value. I want you to email rachel@rachelquilty.com, because what I'm going to do is send you through the offer sheet, send you through the application form, as well as our client profile form. You'll get a calendar invitation to set up our first consultation. You'll receive a copy of our celebrity 13 interview question options, so we can start tailoring some of these bonuses for you immediately, and so you can start thinking about how you're going to work through that as we walk through the next 12 weeks. What's going to happen is, because we are not going live until in the new year, you're going to get everything immediately, all the training, all the webinars, all the resources, so you'll be able to go straight into all the training. You won't have to delay. Like I said, it's a bonus valued at 2497. So I want you to make sure that you email me, rachel@rachelquilty.com, immediately. Make sure that you just indicate that you want to take advantage of our VIP package, so that I can send all the information through to you, so that you've got the details and all the information. And obviously, I'd love to work with you as we walk through your personal brand journey. And I want you to become a VIP. I want you to brand yourself as for recognition, results, and rewards. I want you to know how to position your brand for success. So with that, I'm going to conclude our training today. Like I said, email me, rachel@rachelquilty.com, so I can send you through all the information you need, so we can start moving forward with your incredible brand. Thanks again, everyone. Okay.